Started. Good morning, everyone. Everyone joining us from the Pacific time zone. It's early in the morning, and everyone on the East Coast should be right around noontime soon. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's webinar session. My name is Suzanne, and I'll be leading today's session. Today, we'll talk about recent product feature releases that have been made to Service Cloud and that are now available to use in Service Cloud Lightning Console. Our focus will remain on Lightning as we have in our previous webinars because more feature updates are done to Lightning and we want to make sure that we're getting the most out of any enhancements made to the product. Before we get started, I need to cover our forward-looking statement. Just a quick note and reminder that Salesforce is a publicly traded company, and you should base your purchasing decisions on products and services that are currently available on the market. Now, let's review our agenda. We'll start with a brief introduction so I can share a little bit about myself and what I do here at Salesforce. Then we'll go over and discuss a couple of slides covering some interesting product enhancements from the Spring 18 and Summer 18 release. We'll later move on and briefly discuss the upcoming release and Dreamforce that is coming up in just a few weeks. We'll finally wrap up our session with a few questions towards the end. And just a quick note, we will be recording today's session and we will send this out to all attendees after the webinar, along with some other helpful resources. All right, let's get right into it. A little bit about myself. My name is Suzanne. I joined Salesforce a little over 2.5 years ago as a technical support rep with the desk and Salesforce support team. Some of you may have interacted with me in the past if you submitted cases to the team. However, I recently moved over to our internal scale team to focus solely on helping customers transition over to Service Cloud. And with that, become more of a dedicated resource to assisting with desk to Service Cloud setup and migration. Part of my role is to lead webinars such as this one, as well as lead office hours that we host weekly. On that note, you're able to join the office hours that we host weekly to learn more about Service Cloud and also learn more about how my team can help you through the process of migrating off desk.com. I'll share information on upcoming webinars later in the email that we'll be sending out after the session. Most of my time here is spent teaching our customers about how to use Service Cloud and introduce them to the platform. Part of using the platform and learning about Service Cloud is also to make sure that you're really keeping track of product updates. You want to make sure that you're fully utilizing what the product has to offer. So that is what we'll talk about today. You may or may not be aware of our commitment here at Salesforce to innovation. We believe in innovation and the need to innovate to better support our customers. When we think about features we want to develop, a major source of those features come directly from our customer community. That is why Salesforce has 3 major releases per year with automatic updates to our products. So for each of these 3 releases, we push out our feature updates to every Salesforce instance out there. And it's all done automatically, and all customers receive the same updates at no cost. With this, you're guaranteed to always have access to the latest enhancements made by our engineers. With every release, our customers get access to 100 features, if not more, and all features are documented thoroughly in our release notes, which we publish online. We've included some links to relevant release notes in this deck, and the deck will be shared with everyone on the call after this session. With this summer, the last Summer 18 release, we had quite a few product announcements to make. We released about over 250 new features. On this slide, we've included just some of the highlights from this release, such as case deflection tracking, pinned workspace components, Einstein Bots, and overall enhancements to our Lightning experience. In our next few slides, we'll talk about a few chosen features coming from our last 2 releases And I'll share these with you to hopefully increase your knowledge about what we've done to make Service Cloud even better. Let's talk about Spring 18 first. The Spring 18 release came packed with new features for service. So I want to introduce a few here that are very much relevant for any service customer. Macros is one of our most used feature in Service Cloud. Almost all agents will use a macro at some point, and it's a great way to increase efficiency by saving clicks and time. With this release, quick replies and macros became HTML supported. So you can now add HTML code to format your response, and this will be retained once you apply it on a case. Another great enhancement that was made to macros in this release is that you're now able to add email templates and attachments to your macros. This was a great enhancement as you can now allow your agents to have prepared macros with not only quick replies, but also possibly one attachment or multiple attachments that would be added to your case response. And with the email attachment enhancement, you're able to apply more lengthy responses than just a quick reply, which really helps your agents save time when responding to repetitive requests that require them to share a lot of information with the end user. Now, let's talk forwarding. Forwarding out of Lightning was another feature update made in Spring 18. This was a major update that made forwarding very easy since this was previously only available and supported in Salesforce Classic. Now, from within your case feed and reply, you can simply forward and send out your full interaction history that you had with a customer to send that out and share with selected external recipients. And this is all done from within your Service Console. Knowledge articles can be a great source of information to your agents. And oftentimes your agents will need to share that information with the end user that they're interacting with. Now they can, with a simple click from the knowledge component, you can actually insert a full article with all its formatting into your case response. It will retain any HTML you've applied, any formatting, as well as inline images that you may have in your knowledge article and any other sources added. Now let's talk about the most recent release, the Summer 18. The Summer 18 release did not disappoint when it came to new features for service, and here's a few that I would like to highlight. Email drafts were previously not possible to save in a case response. With this release, the Service Console will now save what you type into a case reply as a draft. So you don't lose your work in a case. If you close out your tab or your page is refreshed, that draft is retained. The drafts are automatically saved every few seconds as you're typing your email. And another important note here is that the draft is also private by default to that agent that is associated to the case. So if other agents open up that same case, they will not be able to see that saved draft. So this was a really great enhancement made to the email component in Lightning. Now, to be able to attach files to your emails, you previously had to click the paperclip icon to search for and add your attachments. You can now add an attachment to an email in the console by simply dragging the file into the body of the email. Any files, regardless of format, can be dragged and dropped as attachments as long as they are 2 GB or less in size. This simple drag and drop feature can definitely save some clicks for your agents. Finally, let's talk about case comments. To be able to find previously added comments on a case, this is something that is very important for some agents as they work through hundreds of cases weekly or perhaps even daily, depending on their workload. That is why it's important to be able to use the global search functionality, since global search finds almost all objects and records within a Salesforce instance. Case comment search was not supported in Lightning previously, but with this summer release, now you can. You can search for case comments that are associated with your cases in Lightning to more easily be able to track down previous notes that you need to look up. So this is another helpful enhancement to service and specifically to Lightning and the Lightning experience. Last but not least, we'll talk a little bit about customizable Einstein Bots. This is one of our newest and definitely most interesting feature in Service Cloud. Einstein Bots were a great announcement with the Summer 18 release. Bots can handle routine and repetitive customer requests, freeing your agents to spend their time on more complex issues that are better suited for humans. The best part with Einstein Bots is that every Service Cloud org now comes with Einstein Bot as an available feature by default. You're able to pretty quickly get a basic bot up and running by using the new Bot Builder to get your bot ready to help answer those basic inquiries that your end user may be reaching out for quite often. We have a great Trailhead training module available for anyone who is interested in learning more about Einstein Bots. So I'll be including some links to this training in my email to you all. Now that we've talked about the Spring 18 release and the Summer 18 release, let's talk a little bit about Dreamforce. Dreamforce is our largest event here at Salesforce. It's held annually in San Francisco, and it gathers the entire Salesforce community. Our customers, our partners, even us as employees, we all gather in a fun reunion once a year. This year, we're hosting more than 2,700 sessions, and we've tailored content specific to every industry for these sessions. Of course, service is one of the most important industries. If you're not attending in person, you can still join in on Dreamforce live stream to hear keynotes and other great learning sessions. We'll be hosting sessions for Service Cloud, so make sure to not miss out on those. Now, product announcements are generally always made every year a few weeks prior to Dreamforce, which is when the winter release goes live. This year, however, Dreamforce is held a bit early in September, so our winter release will occur this year a few weeks after Dreamforce is over. Our release date is set to October 14th to be exact. What that means is by no later than October 14th, all Salesforce instances will have been updated to reflect the winter release. I won't go over the winter release today. Instead, you'll get a chance to explore it on your own when you follow the links that we'll be sharing in a bit. I can, however, say that we're able to fill almost 500 release note pages this year with brand new updates for the winter release. Now, before we take some questions, I wanted to briefly share a current offering that we have to all our customers. We want to extend this to all our desk customers, and I wanted to just briefly discuss what we have on the slide. We're currently offering any customer that has a desk site with us to help them move over and migrate off desk to Service Cloud. What we're currently offering is we will assemble a team for this move. So we'll put together a team on our end that will assist you with the move to Service Cloud. What we start off with is we review your desk site to determine what your current setup and configuration looks like. Then we take that and we have a discussion with you to see what you've envisioned for service for your team once they move over to Service Cloud. Then we put together a plan of how we recommend that Service Cloud is configured for you and your team. And we'll provide you with the following. We will provide you with a new Enterprise Edition org. We will help you with the data migration from desk to Service Cloud to get all your data pushed over. We will also put together and actually configure a basic case management setup in Service Cloud for this new org. And finally, we'll train you on how to use Service Cloud. We'll help your team get onboarded and provide them with useful training resources. So if you're interested in this, I'm going to launch a poll real quick to see how many on the call would be interested in getting help with their Service Cloud setup. I'll let the poll stay up for just a little bit longer. Great, thank you so much. The votes are coming in. Wonderful. I think I'm missing just 1 or 2 votes. Okay, thank you so much for your responses. I'm going to close out the poll. So what we will do, my team and I will review the results from the poll, and we'll be reaching out to each one of you after the session to see how we can best assist you moving forward. So thank you so much, everyone who took the poll, and we will be reaching out to you individually after the session. Let's keep moving. And before I go over the resources, let's take a couple questions. I have my colleague Brian on the line to help with questions that are incoming. Let's take a few questions before we talk about resources that can help your team learn more about Service Cloud, how to best use the product, how to best train your team, and how to adopt the platform as best as possibly. So we have one question here. My understanding is that Service Cloud allows for multiple agents to be assigned to a single case. Is this true? So that's a good question. By default, a case is assigned to one single user, one single agent. However, there is something called case teams. So you are able to add a related list to display case teams on a case. And with that, you're able to add multiple members, agents to that case team to collaborate on a case. So the assignment in itself, the case owner, would still be one dedicated agent. You are still, however, able to collaborate on the case by creating those case teams that allows more agents to technically work on that one and the same case. So that just to repeat again, the case ownership is always one single user, but you can make use of the case team functionality to add multiple users to that same case and have them collaborate. Another way you can collaborate if you don't want to use case teams, or if you don't want to show the case team related list on your case layout, you can simply use the post action. The post action on a case in Service Cloud allows you to mention other users. So you can mention your fellow agents to work with them, let them know, share information back and forth. And every time you mention another user in your Service Cloud org, you're able to get their attention on that case. And they will receive an email notification as well as an alert in the console to let them know that someone is trying to reach them and get their attention on a case. So those are 2 different ways where you can get that collaboration on a case without necessarily changing the assignment from one agent to another. Let me know if that answered your question. In the meantime, we'll hop over to the next question here. And feel free to keep your questions coming. We've dedicated time specifically at the end of the session to take these questions and help with any inquiries that you have in regards to Service Cloud and its enhancement. Next question here is, what does the new layout look like? I have agents that do not like change and are used to desk.com, so they are worried about the layout. That's a fully valid question. Thank you for asking that. So if they're used to desk.com and coming from a desk.com background, the Lightning console and the layout of the Lightning version of your Salesforce instance is Not very similar to the classic version of desk.com. However, there are some similarities with the next-gen layout in desk.com. So depending on whether or not your team has been working out of next-gen, or if they're working solely in the classic version of desk.com, it will depend on how much they interacted with next-gen, because next-gen is fairly similar to Lightning. Okay, they were using classic. Okay, so with that, what I would recommend, because it is fairly different in terms of the layout, it's a much more cleaner layout in terms of the UI. The interface is very easy to use. It's very straightforward. So what I generally recommend to make sure that your team is ready to move to Lightning specifically, since we highly recommend that you start off in Lightning right away, I would recommend that you have them use Trailhead. I would recommend that you have them explore Trailhead. There are some great Trailhead units that specifically are designed to navigate an agent through the Lightning version of Service Cloud. They will be allowed to familiarize themselves with what the features look like in Lightning, how you can actually work on a case in Lightning. So that would be my first tip. My second tip would be join our office hours. You can have your entire team join our office hours. We hold these 3 times a week. I believe for this week, we're only hosting it twice a week, but we usually run sessions for every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And in those office hours, myself and my colleague Barb, we have actual demos. So we will show you hands-on what it looks like in Lightning. We will show you how you can work on a case in Lightning, how you can resolve a case in Lightning, how to use macros, and so forth. So we do a lot of hands-on practice in Lightning during these office hours. So I would highly recommend that you point your team to those office hours. There's no commitment or anything like that. They can simply dial in. It's for 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how many people we have attending. And we're able to take questions in that webinar, as well as just do actual demos of any specific feature that they're interested in viewing. So that would be my best response to how to get accustomed to the Lightning layout and experience. Now, you're very welcome. Now, while I keep my eye out here for more questions, let me just briefly share with you a couple of resources that I have at the end here. So this slide has just a summary of some relevant links to various items. I just wanted to go over these one at a time. The first one here for Trails, I've collected links to Einstein Bot Trailhead unit that will walk you through and guide you on how to actually build your own bot. It does not take a lot of time. It is not complex in any way. The bot builder is pretty straightforward. So I wanted to include this link here to get your attention on that in case any of you are interested. I've also included some other Trailhead links to introductions to Service Cloud. There's a Service Cloud Quick Look and Getting Started with Service Cloud. These are great Trailhead units that are introductory on a very high level to get your agents familiar with what it actually looks like. Just give them that brief introduction to have them get started with Service Cloud. Trailhead is, if not everyone is aware of it, our own learning tool here at Salesforce. It is free and accessible to everyone. So I would highly recommend that you visit Trailhead. Just Google Trailhead or click on any of these links. It will direct you straight to these units. You're able to take units, as many or as few as you would like. You can pause your training and come back to them later. So we always recommend Trailhead for both administrators and agents, whether you're starting off or if you're already familiar with the product. It's a great way to just refresh your memory or enhance the knowledge that you already have. Next up here is the live events. So these are the office hours that I mentioned previously. We run these several times a week. So feel free to visit our webinar link. You can either click on the link from the deck or visit support.desk.com. And from our support.desk.com page, you're able to find our webinar calendar. So on that calendar, you can directly register to any of these office hours to not miss out on any of these sessions. And these are very hands-on. Our office hours have no agenda. They're open for anyone, and you're able to come with any questions that you may have that are related to Service Cloud. You can join in and just listen, or you can join in as an interactive session. So I would highly recommend office hours for everyone on the call today. Finally, the release notes, they are quite lengthy. I've included links for Spring 18, Summer 18, and the new release notes for Winter 19. So if anyone is interested in maybe skimming through some of these hundreds of pages with updates, the links are here for you. There are HTML and browser-supported versions of the release notes where you can simply search for specific keywords to find the specific updates that you might be interested in. And the last one up here, I've included a direct link to our workbook. This is a workbook that my team put together to help you with setup and configuration in Service Cloud with some really neat screenshots and guides with step-by-steps. Makes it really easy to set up certain things in Service Cloud, such as autoresponders or new email templates and so forth. I've also included a link to our Service Cloud trial. Anyone is able to sign up for a Service Cloud trial. If you have a desk account with us, you're able to set up multiple Service Cloud trials. Depending on if you have agents that would like to sign up for a trial to test that out as a playground, or if you have an administrator that would like to go ahead and start a trial to see what Service Cloud would look like for his or her agents. So feel free to sign up for these trials. You get 90 full days with Service Cloud. You get an Enterprise Edition org, and you get 10 licenses with this trial. There is no commitment. You can use it until the 90 days expire and leave it at that, or you can ask for an extension if you would like to have more time exploring Service Cloud. So I would recommend that you sign up for a trial if you would like to learn more about what the product looks like and try out some of these enhancements that we talked about today. With that, we've come to the end of the session. That is all I have. I will stay on the line for the last 2 minutes in case anyone has any more questions. If you do not have any more questions, thank you so much for dialing in today. I'll be sending out an email shortly, and have a continued wonderful day.